Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into an important topic, the avian influenza virus. You might know it better as the bird flu, but whatever you call it, this virus is a big deal, and we need to talk about it. We're going to break it down in a way that's easy to understand. So whether you're a health enthusiast or just want to stay informed, stick around. Let's get started. So, what exactly are we dealing with here? The avian influenza virus, or bird flu, is a type of influenza virus, like the flu we get every year. But here's the catch, it mainly affects birds. Now you might be thinking, okay, but I'm not a bird, so why should I care? And that's a fair question. The thing is, while this virus primarily targets our feathered friends, it can also jump to humans and other animals. That's right, it's a zoonotic disease, which means it can spread between animals and people. And that's where things can get a little tricky. Not all bird flu viruses are created equal, though. We have different subtypes, and some are nastier than others. For example, you might have heard of AH5N1. That's one of the highly pathogenic avian influenza viruses, and it's known to cause severe illness in both birds and humans. We'll dive deeper into that later. Let's talk about how this virus gets around. The most common way avian influenza spreads is through direct contact with infected birds. This could be anything from touching a sick bird to handling its droppings, or even coming into contact with surfaces contaminated with the virus. But it's not just direct contact we need to worry about. The virus can also spread through the air, especially in enclosed spaces where infected birds are kept. Imagine a chicken coop, for example. If you have infected birds in there, the virus can hang out in the air and potentially infect other birds or even people. Now here's the good news. Avian influenza doesn't spread easily from person to person. That's a relief, right? However, there have been rare cases of human-to-human transmission, so it's crucial to be aware of the risks and take precautions, especially if you're in close contact with birds. Now let's talk symptoms. How do you know if a bird or even a human has avian influenza? Well, in birds, it can look like a regular bird flu at first. They might have respiratory problems like coughing, sneezing, or difficulty breathing. You might also notice a drop in egg production, and sadly, some birds may even die suddenly. In humans, the symptoms can vary depending on the specific strain of the virus and the person's overall health. Some people might experience mild flu-like symptoms such as fever, cough, sore throat, and muscle aches. Others, however, might develop more severe complications like pneumonia, which is an infection of the lungs. And unfortunately, in some cases, avian influenza can be fatal, especially if not treated promptly. That's why it's so important to seek medical attention immediately if you suspect you might have been exposed to the virus, especially if you work with poultry or have recently traveled to areas with known outbreaks. Okay, so we've covered the what, the how, and the symptoms. Now let's talk about how to protect ourselves and our feathered friends from this virus. The first line of defense is simple. Avoid contact with birds, especially wild birds. That means no touching, no feeding, and definitely no kissing. Next up, good hygiene is our best friend. Wash your hands thoroughly and often, especially after being around birds or visiting live poultry markets. Use soap and water and scrub those hands for at least 20 seconds. If soap and water aren't available, hand sanitizer with at least 70% alcohol will do the trick. And let's not forget about food safety. When preparing poultry, make sure it's cooked to an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit or 74 degrees Celsius to kill any potential viruses. And remember, always wash your hands and surfaces that have come into contact with raw poultry. The fight against avian influenza doesn't stop there. Scientists and researchers around the world are working tirelessly to understand this virus better and develop effective ways to control it. One of the main areas of focus is vaccine development. Having a vaccine for both birds and humans would be a game changer in preventing future outbreaks and saving lives. Another crucial aspect is surveillance. By closely monitoring the virus's circulation patterns in birds, scientists can identify potential outbreaks early on and implement control measures to prevent the virus from spreading to humans. And finally, research is ongoing to develop antiviral drugs that can effectively treat avian influenza infections in humans. These drugs could be crucial in reducing the severity of the illness and improving survival rates. Thanks for watching. We've covered a lot of ground today, but knowledge is power. The more we know about avian influenza, the better equipped we are to protect ourselves, our communities, and the birds we share this planet with. Remember to stay informed, follow the recommended precautions, and together we can minimize the impact of this virus. Stay informed and stay safe. For more information, check out the references listed below.